as we do hit retirement age, there are three things that we've got to focus in on and really make an effort, because they're important to make the last quarter of our life really, really good. And why shouldn't it be? So number one in my books is health. We really have to look after ourselves and make an extra effort. Because if you haven't made that sort of effort, then now's the time to start, because it's all downhill from here. Not really. But there are a few things. I mean, a few people have made the comments that they've had a dreadful working life, you know, their body's all ruined, and they're looking forward to retirement and doing bugger all. I've got a friend like that. I've got a friend who used to drive a truck, and he said the worst thing about the truck was getting in and out, 20 times a day, because he used to deliver stuff. And he said his back was stuffed because of it. Well, if that was the case, then he's got a bit of work to do. But I think you should focus in on that. I think you should focus in, well, if you've got a bad back, you can get it sorted, but you have to put in the effort and you have to focus and concentrate in on it. And that's one of the things I think we need to do as we get older is instead of this avoidance thing, or instead of sort of saying things like, oh, she'll be right, we have to look at it practically and make an effort. It's not easy. Like, I'm lucky, I didn't really have anything physically wrong with me, really all that bad, except I was unfit and I was a bit of a drunkard. But I missed a bullet there, and now I'm fit and strong. I'm fitter and stronger than I ever was. And that's because I focused in on it. I said, right, that's it. I want to make this last quarter of my life the best. And you can't do anything if you don't have your health, can you? Like when you get sick with the flu, I'm in bed and I'm moaning and I'm hopeless. I don't know about you, but if you're sick, it's the worst thing. It really is. Get crook guts or get a snotty nose and the body aches. Whoa. But imagine if that was a permanent thing. Oh my God. So we've got to avoid it. And that means exercise and eating properly and sleeping properly. Number two is we've got to remain productive and useful. There's nothing worse than just sitting about doing bugger all, day after day. And I see that around me. I'm surrounded by people that, they're older than me, and I don't want to judge them. I don't really care what they do, quite frankly, but it's not the life that I want. You've got to be useful. I know a guy that I mentioned before that had trouble with his back because of his delivery. And he retired. He officially retired, sold the business, and then sat on his ass for 6 months and slowly hated it. Started to get really annoyed with it all, because we had discussions about it. And he said, oh, stuff this, I've got to do something. So he started another business. He's about the same age as me. Retired for 6 months, and then went, nah, this is not for me. I've got to remain useful. I've got to be able to do stuff. Because a day is long. A day is long. If I watch television for about an hour or YouTube for an hour, I'm done. I'm sick of it. I think, all right, I've done my bit now. Okay, another 12 hours to kill? Really? Nah, you've got to remain useful. You've got to be able to do stuff. It doesn't always have to be money orientated. It doesn't have to be a business, but you have to do something. I think that's really important, because I get the feeling that oftentimes people, when they retire, they think it's just going to be all, like just fantastic little sort of like extended holiday. But what they don't seem to realise is that, a holiday is a novelty, and we all crave novelty and something different. But if the holiday sort of just becomes life, then it's not a novelty anymore, so it's not as enjoyable. So, but being productive and being useful most of the time is a really good way of, shall I say, retiring. Because nothing really changes. When you retire, I'm sure life doesn't really change that much. Unless you move country and go and live in Bali or something. Which I wouldn't do because of the humidity. Not good with humidity, unfortunately. But yeah, number 2 is being useful and productive. I've been watching on YouTube lately all these interviews with older people that, 20 or 30 years older than me. And there's a lot to be gleaned from those interviews. They're really good people, most of them. And one of the things that I've come across is the loneliness of being old. And it creeps up on you. So number 3, the most important thing I think is to keep some kind of social contact. Like, I don't really need a lot of people around me, but I'm lucky I've got kids and relatives and quite a lot of acquaintances, so I'm all right. I don't really feel like I have to put much effort in. But the people that were lonely that I saw being interviewed, most of them actually haven't put an effort in. I could tell. I thought, why are you so lonely? Why are you sitting on a park bench doing bugger all? And by the way, these people have been like this for 20 years or more. So you've got to, I think if you don't have a social circle and you don't have relatives, you've just got to put in a bit more effort. And try and hang around younger people. I love younger people. I'd much rather hang around with people that are younger than me than my own age. Especially the kids. They're fantastic. Running around, keeping you active, keeping you on your toes and challenging them, and they challenge you. It's great. But yeah, I think you need a social network. It doesn't have to be huge, but these people that were interviewed, they're all lonely and sort of sad-ish, if you like. In most cases, really in life, in most cases, if you're even slightly a little bit self-aware, then really you're the master of your own destiny, aren't you? You're in charge. Nobody's handcuffing you to a tree where you can't move or make your own decisions. So yeah, I think in summary, really, it's your health, it's being useful and productive, and it's making sure that you've got a social network that you can talk to and share with. And if you don't have either of the 3, then get to work and stay sharp.